What's going on YouTube? Southern Perspective coming in with a brand new game we just got. Intro video, kind of explaining the way the game works. Break down some stuff, that way when we're doing actual gameplay, we don't have to stop every 15 seconds and explain, oh, this card means this, or this little X means this, or this guy does this. We'll get all that out of the way. You watch this first, then you know what's going on from that moment forward. So the game we're playing today is Gloomhaven.
Yeah, I mean, it's technically, if you look at the tagline for it, it is a Euro-inspired tactical evolving campaign game.
Yeah, I'm not saying all that.
Yeah.
It's an RPG game.
Turn-based RPG.
Yeah.
Board game.
Board game. Yeah, so it's like you're taking like Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Turn-based game,
Yeah.
and you're doing it in a board game. So.
It's also, just to point out, it's a legacy game. It's what's called a legacy game. It is a basically like a choose-your-own-adventure game also, because the way the system works is when you finish a mission, a scenario, you have options to go to different places. So you choose where you want to go. Once you get further in, obviously when you first start out, the storyline's pretty linear.
Yeah.
But once you get farther into the game, it is a legacy game, which means that what we do actually matters to future missions. And that'll be where we open up different paths. We can go wherever we want to go, once we get further into the game.
It's like any video game you've ever played. You got the first couple missions that you have to do to get your intro into the game, and then you can kind of branch out and do your own thing. So what we're going to do is now we're going to explain to you how the game is played, how the turns go, the attacks.
Okay, so the way this works is we take control of a group of mercenaries. There are 6 starting characters in the game. There are 13 characters total. Well, there are 12, and then one has 2 forms, but there are 13 characters total. And they, like, when I say characters, I mean there are 13 little character model things.
Yeah, they have their own miniatures.
They have their own miniatures, and
their own player card.
You start off the game with 6 available. We have chosen 3 each, but for this first mission we're actually going to be using 2 of them. We're each going to play 1 character each. My character is going to be the Orchid Spellweaver, Liliana, which is her. Here, you'll see a card of this. It's going to pop it up on the screen.
If you'd like to see the read-up of what her character is, pause it now.
And then the other character that'll be used is an Inox Brute.
His name is Prince. Nigel Prince.
If you want to see his read-up, pause it now. You have a character sheet that you fill out, and as we go along we'll put notes in, and we'll keep track of experience and gear and stuff like that. And this is a non-dice based game. There are no dice in this game. The way it works is you have a deck of cards that comes with each character. And just to show you, the characters actually have their own boxes. Each character has its own box. Inside the box, it has a character card like these. It has the character sheet that goes along with it, with multiple copies if you decide to start over with that character. They also have their own personal attack decks, which are these. And you'll notice that it actually comes with an entire other set of cards. And And basically what will happen is that as you level up your character in the game, you'll actually be you'll bring more cards into the deck. So as you level up your character, you'll get stronger attacks. You know, you can change stuff out and customize the character how you want to.
And all that's demonstrated on this little bitty emblem right there that says level 1.
Yeah, and the thing is the way this works, since there's no dice, there's no any kind of dice or anything like that. Each character during their turn is going to pick 2 cards. Okay, let's just say these are the 2 cards that I pick. Okay, and I mean we'll put pictures up on the thing so you can see an example of the cards. And the way it works is, for your turn, you pick the top number or the top part of one card and the bottom part of the other card. You can do either or any way you want to, but you have to do the top of one and the bottom of another. Okay, and that's how you determine what your actions are in that turn. Now, every card has 2 basic attacks or 2 basic abilities. There is a basic attack and a basic movement. 2 attack, 2 movement. Every single card in the deck has that. You can choose to do a basic action, or you can choose to do a specific action that's on your character. Like for example, Liliana here could attack from range with 2 and heal for 3, or she can attack from range with 2 with this top part, and she can also have frost armor, which would be an active effect that will let me block attacks for 2 turns against this character. The thing to remember is that you cannot do the top and the top. Like I could not attack twice. I couldn't do this and heal. I have to take one from the top and one from the bottom every turn. So something else you'll notice on these cards is that there's a number in the middle. The number in the middle is the initiative number, and that is actually how we determine who goes first. What you want to do is you want to look at your number, and you'll notice that this mana bolt has a 7, right? So I would put that as my initiative on top, and that's how we determine who goes first. Between me and Nigel over here, I would go first and he would go second. Okay, so that's the way that works. So when we do attacks, what we would do as an example is, let's say I'm doing this attack here. That is a basic attack of 2 with a range of 3. Well, we also have these modifier cards here. These modifier cards, you'll flip a card over. Okay, when you flip a card over, it'll change your attack based on what the card is. So here you can see this is actually a bad card for me because I got a 2 attack, but I have to take a -1 on that attack. So my attack just dropped back down to 1 point. Okay, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. I mean, like right there. There you go, that's a 2 times modifier. That'll automatically double any damage I'm doing. So that's the basic way that we attack. Obviously, we're not attacking each other. Well, I mean, I guess we could, but Nigel would lose.
Nigel has 10 health, okay?
So, on top of us also having our own characters, there are monsters in the game. I'm just going to grab a random one here. This here is a living bones. Okay? The living bones is one of the enemies in the game. The enemies in the game are determined by the scenario that we're in, and they also have their own character cards. Now, I'm going to pull this out here. You'll notice in the picture that it has different sides, and each in the top corner you'll see it has a number. Okay, the numbers that are on top of here are the level of the monster. Okay, so what'll happen is you choose your scenario, you choose what your level is going to be, which I believe we're playing a level higher because we're playing it cooperative. So the creatures we're going to be fighting are going to start at level 2. Okay. On the left side, it is a normal creature, which in the videos that we show will be denoted by a white stand. Okay. And in the event of an elite creature, which is on the right side, it will have a yellow stand. Okay. Like this one here. Like this one here, that yellow stand denotes that this is an elite archer. Okay. So that's the difference between the two sides. And these guys do the same thing we do, except theirs is a little bit more simplified. They are going to have, each character in the game has its own attack deck or priority deck. They're going to roll for initiative the same way we do. We're going to flip a card over and see now his initiative, this Living Bones initiative, is 12. So in the scenario we showed you earlier, I had 7, Liliana had 7, Nigel had 10, the guard has, or the Living Bones has 12. So in this situation, Liliana would go first, Nigel would go second, and the guard would go third. They have some more information on their cards. For example, this card would be a shield +1, a heal of 2, it would heal itself, and then that is the only actions it would take for that turn.
No moves, no attacks. It can only do what's on the card.
If it's not written on the card, they do not do that. The only thing this skeleton's going to do is have a shield of 1 and a heal of 2. It's going to heal itself for 2, and then that's its whole turn. It's done after that.
That being said, that doesn't take effect until its turn.
Yeah, it would not heal it came around.
And it doesn't have its shield until its turn or later.
Like you'll notice on the card that we pop up, it says shield 1. So this skeleton, if it made it to its turn, would actually have shield 2. But it has to get to its turn first. So, but anyway, that's how they work, and every character will have one of these. The thing is that there are multiple characters of the same type. Like let's say there's 3 Living Bones. All of them have the same initiative. So they would all have an initiative 12. They would go one after the other. By the way, let's say they did have an attack. Let's say, here we go. Here's one that's an attack. In this turn, they can move, attack, and heal. It's actually pretty overpowered. But they would move to the focus of their attack, whoever's closest. They would attack, and then they would heal themselves. And they attack the same way we do. They have their own deck. Currently, all of the decks in the game, Nigel's, Liliana's, and the monsters, have the same cards in them. For the first scenario, anyway. Things change a little bit as you go on. And as we level up, we'll put more stuff in ours. But then, like, for example, -1. So their attack is a +0. This skeleton can attack for 2 damage. So he would do the same thing we did and have a -1. So he would only hit us for 1 damage each. So that's the basic breakdown of mechanics in the game. It's not really, you'll see as we go, it's not really that difficult of a game.
If it comes down to, let's say Liliana has 4 health points left, and they hit that draw, that 2x multiplier, it hits for 5 damage. Instead of killing his character, he can discard a card to negate all damage from that certain monster that turn.
Now, it's not a discard, you lose the card. Have a setup in the game, we'll show you a picture of it. And there's a discard pile, there's a lost pile. Anything that's in the lost pile is lost from the game for that round unless you have an ability that lets you bring back your lost cards. Okay, some added just odds and ends stuff. There are items in the game. Your character can have items. We both have 2 starting items that we purchased from the store in Gloomhaven because we are currently in the city. By the way, we are starting from the beginning. We are going to do the campaign scenarios from the very beginning.
Yep.
Fresh characters. I will say this. There is a chance that as we progress, we will be swapping characters out, because we do have 6 starting characters. We each have 3 each. So we will be swapping out characters at some point in time.
It'll introduce new characters, what characters you can start with, and then you can see how they play, decide which character you would like to be if you bought the game, so on and so forth.
It's what you do is when you create a character, which we have not done this yet, we are going to do it for you. When you create a character, what you do is you pull a gold card. Okay. Now what this card does is this is going to set, I mean, I don't want to call it, it's basically a life goal for your character. The way this works is there's different goals written on these cards. Nigel's going to pull one, and Liliana's going to pull one. This is going to become their goal in life. Once you as the player get, like for example, Liliana, once she accomplishes the goal on this card, she retires as a mercenary. And once she retires, you actually open another of the sealed envelope boxes. Okay, and that will open that character for you to use going forward. And it is a legacy game. Technically, she's done from that point on. Like, you don't have her anymore because she's retired. And so we're actually going to do that now. We're actually going to pull our, because like I said, we're bringing you with us from the very beginning. We haven't done it. I mean, we played it, obviously. We played the game. But we're starting a fresh campaign. We're starting from the beginning. So we're going to pull a new life goal card, what I'm going to call it. Okay, so Liliana's life goal is piety in all things. The wretched city of Gloomhaven is a writhing pit of vice and greed. You feel your lungs blacken with evil just by breathing the air, but still you agree to help out the fledgling Great Oak Sanctuary, so you must be strong. You will venture into the dens of sin surrounding this city and contribute as much as you can to raise up the city's sole beacon of hope. Donate 120 gold to the Sanctuary of the Great Oak. That will let me open a box, which will then become an available character.
I got Fearless Stand. You've never been the biggest amongst your peers. First of all, I'm a brute. We won't get into that. In fact,
he is the runt of the Inox.
I'm the little guy. In fact, all of your young life, you were bullied for being small and looking different. If only those who bullied you could see you now. It's time to take a stand for the little guy. Step up to all those who think they are better than the rest and show them they are not. They will sleep in dirt just like everyone else. Kill 20 elite monsters to open that box, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You get a close-up picture, you can do your own read-up, which will probably be better than mine.
Okay, so you'll see me reach over here every once in a while. Just want to show you what we got going on here. This is the Gloomhaven rulebook, and it's a, it's the basic rules for the game. We do access them every once in a while. Mostly when it comes to status effects and stuff like that, we'll check on this. The other book that is in this chair over here is the scenario book. Now, this book is the scenarios that you can play through in this game. And I'm just going to flip it open real quick. We will be doing, like I said, we're starting off at number 1. And it gives you a rundown. It gives you the monster locations depending on what level you're playing at, how many characters you're playing, what the map tiles are. We debated on doing an unboxing on this, but the problem is that we already had the box open when we talked about doing this, so yeah. It was a situation where we're not putting everything. The box this game comes in a box that it weighs 21 pounds.
Yeah. That was shipped weight. The guy that dropped it off was carrying a lifting belt. Like he had a lifting belt wrapped around him.
The thing about this game is that this is a very popular game.
2017 Geek Award winner.
Yeah, it's got a long list of awards.
Yeah.
It's currently #1 on Board Game Geek again. There's 98 scenarios just in this book that you go through, and it's a lot. So we will show you some pictures of the stuff in the box. We'll show you the box itself. But this is the scenario book, and it takes you through the opening scene. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically kick this off. In the next video, we will start in the city. We are going to do a city event in the city, and then we're going to be heading off on our first adventure as a mercenary company. We're going to be going to this location here, which again is the scenario 1. It's called the Black Barrow. On the way there, we'll do a road event, and then we'll start the dungeon, and we'll kick this thing off.